everyone, and welcome to Four Letter Nerd, a Hyro Geekix Unlimited production. I am your host for tonight, Katarina, as our good man Bergie is not feeling well tonight. And we are going to be talking about graphic novels. And to start that right in, I'm going to bring on our co hosts. First up, Ra the Sun God. Please join us.
Thank you, milady.
You're so very well. Thank you for joining us this evening. It is a I don't know what I'm doing with my Next up, I would like to bring our other esteemed co-host, Michael Mayhem.
Oh, hi. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And you're not going to do the...
Well, this is the first time, long time. I want to say we're doing great.
We are. We're doing so good.
Thanks,
so
Bergie.
Proud of us. So proud of us. We came in clutch.
Oh, man. And we have a special guest today.
We do. We have a wonderful guest with us today. It's going to be launching a Kickstarter. We're going to bring that up. But again, on the topic of graphic novels, we have the great pleasure of having with us all the way from South Africa, Alistair Cunningham, to talk about his graphic novel, In My Time of Dying. We could bring on up.
All right, there he is.
Hi, welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon.
What time is it there?
It is now 3:00 in the morning.
Oh,
that's
My
dedication.
That is
suffering.
That is a
for
precedent that you are setting that no one is going to be able to match. So already. But thank you for being with us. I know that you are also having some power issues over there. So triply thank you for being able to join us. And
absolute pleasure. Thank you.
We would love to talk to you about your graphic novel and everything that you want to tell us about it. And we'll try to keep it brief because we know that, you know, you're on limited things.
Battery.
So,
that's fine.
So just to roll on into it, please tell us about your graphic novel.
Okay, well, it's called In My Time of Dying. And obviously, I don't want to give too much away because it's going to go live in Jan. I don't want to spoil it for the readers. But it's about a blues musician called Lyric. And it's like his last bite of the apple. So he's got this last sort of final farewell tour. And it's just a whole host of characters that he tours with, his tour manager. There's a couple of reporters, you know, musicians and stuff like that. And then it's a little bit psychedelic. And then halfway through, it sort of becomes more supernatural. And it's just a nice balance between the two. So there's lots of references to blues, lots of references to blues musicians and lyrics and things like that. And it's just this whole journey from basically from the East Coast to the West Coast of America. That's it in a nutshell, without giving too much away.
As someone that's on the inside and has a little bit more knowledge of this book, how did you choose the music that you set along with it? That's what I've always wondered.
What, the lyrics that he's actually singing in the songs, or
yes,
or well, a lot of that was I played in a band, and I was a lyricist for this band many years ago. I played drums for them, and I wrote all the lyrics. So they've just literally been sitting in folders for 10, 15 years, and I thought, well, I can't get the rights to do a lot of modern songs because you pay for that.
Right.
So you got to use stuff that's out of copyright, and the laws in America are different to the rest of the world by about 20 years. So a lot of the stuff that is actual lyrics go back to like the late or the early 1900s. But a lot of the stuff that he's singing live on stage, that's stuff that I've written myself, that I've actually penned myself.
Oh, amazing, man!
Yeah, and so there are actually songs to the stuff that you see him singing.
So
which I won't sing for you because that's not my
right. I don't appreciate that. That's fine. We'll have you on another show and we can give
you. We're definitely going to have a Four Letter Nerd the musical episode, and we're definitely going to bring you back for that.
That sounds great.
I have a question. What was the inspiration behind this? What in My Time of Dying? What made you said I want to do this like this?
Yeah. Well, it started life as a short story. Lyric started life as a character. It was in a short story. He was actually going to be a demon. And I always liked the name Lyric. And I always wanted him to speak in rock and roll and blues lyrics. So he would never, answer straight. It was always going to be like a lyric from a song.
Okay.
And I always thought that was very cool. But then obviously because of licensing rights, that would cost you like $1 billion to do, because obviously you pay per word or whatever. So I had to go back to the drawing board. And then, I was writing a story, like a Halloween story, short story. And then, he just popped into my head. And I thought, well, I haven't used this character or thought about this character in a while. Let's make him a blues singer. And then that's how it morphed into that. And obviously, In My Time of Dying is a reference to a very famous blues song that was written probably in about 1920s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was adapted very successfully adapted by Led Zeppelin for the Physical Graffiti album. And I remember watching the video, How the West Was Won. And there's a part where they come on and they announce this in My Time of Dying. And it's a song that they used to play quite a bit up until Robert Plant's son died. Carrick Plant, he died, I think he was about 4 or 5 years old. And after that, they always said, Robert Plant always said that there was a bit of darkness attached to that song, a bit of heaviness. And so they cut it from the catalog completely. And that always stuck in my head. So I kind of put all of those together. And that's where it came from.
That sounds dope. Excuse my daughter. She likes to make an appearance around 5 to 10 minutes of every part of the show. She needs to let you guys know. But now, that sounds amazing.
The artwork on the cover looks very, very thoughtful and deliberate. And I see from the cover that the art and letters and colors were by different artists. How do you convey to the person that's going to be doing your artwork what you want those characters to look like? Because I'm sure you have a very clear vision of who you're writing about, who these characters are, what they're supposed to look like, how they dress. How is that process for you in conveying that information over and kind of handing this to someone else and saying, please bring my imagination to life?
It's even more interesting because Jorge lives in Argentina and he doesn't speak English at all. And I don't speak Spanish, so between the two of us, it's been a very fun ride.
I bet.
So the scripts were locked down pretty tight, and it was a case of just keeping it simple with art direction. He's got many years experience, so he knows. I mean, I didn't even have to explain anything to him. I would say like a straight linear sort of block pattern, and he would come back with these far out sort of floating panels and stuff happening in the middle. So it was just, I gave him free rein to do what he wanted to do. And then when it comes to the characters, I'll do like reference shots. So I would have like several different people that I had in mind, especially for the clothing. And then, the faces were up to him. But specifically, you'll see the guy on the right there, the little pale pasty dude with the green drink. He's a music journalist as part of the story. So he's an amalgamation of about several different famous music journalists that were writing for Rolling Stone, Cream Magazine, NME, things like that in the UK. And so that's kind of what you would do. Just take photos of something that I'd seen that I liked. It might just be a jacket or a bag or something like that. I'll take a photo and I'll say, right, this is kind of what we're looking for with that. But a lot of it was just purely him just, using his experience. And what works visually, So I'm very fortunate. I mean, it's like I said, we don't speak each other's language, but when it comes to music, because he's also a musician, he plays guitar.
Yeah,
so
universal language.
Yeah, so he knew what I was trying to get to when I was saying something like, Howling Wolf or Mighty Waters or something like that. So that's how it came about.
I'm gonna have to create a Google Translate account for you guys, so that way you guys can be on it. Because this looks amazing. I don't know if we're allowed or if we even have any more graphics to show about in my time. Oh, look at this right here.
Beautiful.
Looks amazing. Arguably, if I played the guitar, this is exactly how I'd want to look, with like a free flowing shirt, leather pants, a nice guitar. You know what I'm saying? My hair in the wind.
Yeah, but the nice thing is like I said, he's a guitarist. So when we talk about chords or guitars or different types of guitars, he knows exactly what to draw. Things like that. And that character there was based on. I was looking for. I'm not going to give any away, obviously, because people still have to read it. But
yes,
I was just going through different faces to try and capture who this person is. And I was going through something. I think it was something on Wikipedia, and then one of the girls from the Manson family, I saw one of the photos of her, and she had Susan Atkins, and she had like very plain hair that just sort of draped down, and there was just like this little bit of a face poking out. And I thought, shit, that's really sinister. So that's exactly what we put on.
Yeah, I'm
So
really
when I
getting
sent the reference,
Right.
yeah, when I sent the reference photo, I think it's when she's actually in court, or she's moving through the hallway in court, and she just stops and she just turns a little bit towards the camera, and someone takes a photo of her, and that's the photo that I referenced with that. So yeah, that's how she's got that long draping sort of hair.
Okay, Kat, 'cause I feel like you had something you wanted
No,
to say.
I was just saying, like, I can see here, this is the supernatural aspect that he was
Yeah,
speaking of, and
yeah,
I think that
yeah,
was a really good face to use as a reference because you kind of feel it in that
yeah,
photo.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this collaboration is obviously a really good one. So I'm glad that you were
yeah.
able to overcome those barriers and work together. So
Mm.
my next question, if unless someone
Mhm.
else wants to jump in with
Go ahead,
one,
go ahead.
is when you decided that this was a story that you wanted to write, how
Yeah.
long was the process for you? Is it something that you banged out like in a week, or is this something that you've been working on for
Yes.
years? Like,
Did you
Yeah.
Steven
where does the
Spielberg?
Well, as I said, it started as a short story, and that took probably about 7 or 8 months until I was happy with it. And it's not long. I mean, it's only about 8 or 9 pages. You know, it's not the most massive story on earth, but I liked it, and I just banked it, and I thought, you know, one day I'll get back to it. So in between that, I was doing a lot of freelance writing. I was doing stuff for magazines and doing a lot of role playing stuff, writing for Chaosium, Call of Cthulhu, things like that. And then I had this idea to do a comic because I've never done one, and I thought I would stretch myself, and I know nothing about writing a comic. And I thought to myself, well, I got all of these little stories that I've done. Let me try and convert one. So as I said, the original short story took a couple of months. Then I went onto the web, had a look around at, you know, just how to write a comic, and I got a couple of spec scripts back on PDF from some famous, not DC, I think they're probably Marvel guys,
Oh,
and how
nice.
they'd taken their stories and put them into this. So I learned how to do that, and then all I did was take my short story and then adapt it into that. But then rapidly realizing that I didn't have enough characters because, as I said, the short story itself is not very long. And then how do you turn 2,000 words or 4,000 words into 120 pages of graphic novel? So I had to do like a whole story arc,
Yeah.
and then pop in characters so that you can get the story, because it's not read as a short story, is it? It's visual, so you got to change
Right.
your whole mindset around, and then you can't just. You've also got to show and tell and show. So that's why I created several different characters to get different points of the story across, that would work easily in a short story, but don't work in a comic format. So then I started writing at the beginning of COVID, and I would sit down and do about 6 or 7 pages a day. But obviously I was really busy with other projects as well, so it kind of got sidelined. So I think the whole thing from beginning to end probably took me about 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was, I mean, I could have done it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was just really busy with other projects at that specific time. So yeah, about 2 years from beginning to end.
This looks amazing, man. I can't wait till we're able to talk about it a little bit more freely and hopefully get you
Right.
back on so that way you can at least sing one of the songs from the art. Come on,
Yeah.
man. I think we're all
Special
waiting for that.
performance.
That would be fantastic.
I'll get my
Yeah.
electric keyboard if need be. The artwork so far kind of reminds me of some of the famous artwork I've seen before, which is amazing. So you really did have a good collaboration. You know, like in this
Yeah.
one shot before
Yeah.
Reggie changed it, it reminded me of like a Dusk Till Dawn kind of feel. You know what I'm saying? With
Oh
the whole
yeah, I
vampire
can
kind of
get
look.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I resonate with that a lot, especially with the warning
Yeah.
adult content, and then you see like the ghoulish figures in the back, so that like makes it pops out more for me.
Yeah.
So I guess my question would be like, after everything was said and done, did you think that you were going to be maybe doing another In My Time of Dying? Was it just like something you wanted to continue, or was it like just one and done? That was it. This was my baby.
One
This
and
is
done.
it. Really?
That was it. It was going to be one and done.
Mhm.
You know, because I don't know. I mean, it has to be a beginning, a middle, and an end,
Mhm.
because otherwise you don't get the payoff. And
Yeah.
so it's got that traditional arc. You know, you start at page 1, and the last page is the last page. But that being said, as
Yes.
you know, as I mentioned earlier, there are several characters in there that are pretty interesting, that might go on, depending on the success of this, that might go on to live and have further adventures.
Ladies and gentlemen, he
Well,
just
that's
said
something to
spinoff.
look good. I
You
was
never
about to
know.
ask that. Are we going to get
Yeah.
spin-offs?
Yeah, but also, there's also a fair bit of Lyric's life mentioned in it. So you could also go back and maybe when he was younger or just getting into the music business, or because when you meet him, he's just at the end of it all. It's just been a whole life of, bad record deals and too many drugs and just the wrong lifestyle. And he's just like, this is it. This is like his last shot. And he knows that. So he's going out there to hit it hard. And he's got a whole swathe of new fans. People are back into the blues again. People are coming to see him.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's really taken off for him. So like I said, yeah, I could maybe go back in time and do some earlier stuff.
So can I give you a challenge really quickly? Right.
Sure.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I'm the problematic one, if you will. Okay.
Mm.
If you could make this a 10-second commercial, right, without giving anything away, what would you tell us? It doesn't have to be 10 seconds because you know what? I feel like, right now it's on the fly. It's cool. I'll give you 15, maybe 20.
All right, hold on.
No problem.
Let me just. I'm gonna cheat a little bit here, and I'm gonna pull up the blurb.
Okay.
Which I think kind of sums it up better.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that 100%.
So, yeah, sorry, this is taking a while to load.
That's all right. I'm thinking about the song I think I want you to sing because I can play mean drums. Reggie plays the flute.
I'm a drummer. I'm a drummer to trade, so that's what I do. But,
all right.
So I would say join Lyric and a motley cast of calamitous characters as they journey from coast to screeching coast on what was Lyric's largest tour to date, the Storm Warning Tour, where the supernatural and the psychedelic dance hand in fevered hand.
Ooh, fevered hand.
Yeah, fevered hand.
That's what I
would put. A good one. That's a good word.
There's a few Easter eggs. But yeah, that's it. So I mean, once it's open and you guys have read it, and if you're into music at all, you'll see there are just Easter eggs galore.
Yes,
all over the place. Just referencing all manner of musicians, all types of different places. I've tried to use as many real stills of vehicles from that era, guitars, various musicians, places that they played in, some macabre items that I won't give away that'll come up in the story as well. But yeah, I've tried to keep it as real as possible. And I'm a huge music fan, so I've tried to cram as much of my passion about music into it, especially the blues, because it's just it's an amazing style of music.
Okay.
Sounds amazing. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to reading it. And the best way to get to read it is by contributing to the Kickstarter.
That is correct.
Reggie, would you like to talk about the business?
The business. Yes. It's not up just yet, but it will be just here shortly. So we're launching our second Kickstarter for In My Time of Dying. Because
excuse me. Second successful Kickstarter.
You are correct, sir. Second successful because with Nightlight Volume Issue 2, we hit goal.
Yes.
In 4 days.
Mm-hmm. Thank you to everybody.
Plus some. And guess what we're gonna do with this one? We're gonna hit goal. Plus some. Goal.
We're trying to keep his lights on,
That's right.
I think the government's trying to scupper that, but I mean, yeah.
Fair enough.
That'd be cool.
This one will be launching next month. So as one ends, we will have another one up. And this is for the whole graphic novel. It's not for chapters. This is the whole kit and caboodle right here. You're getting the big, thick omnibus of a book out of this Kickstarter. So this one might be a little bit more than the first one, but guess what? It is totally worth it. Definitely. You need to do it.
Awesome.
Also, we want to have him come back and then tell us who's his favorite host and why is it Mayhem. So be sure to help okay?
That's wrong of you to put that in.
He's
there
watched every single
episode.
Episode.
Love for us to do a poll. One of those one of those secret polls where they don't have to say who they are and let people vote, because I think Mayhem might get humbled.
I mean, it is Christmas. We are banking on a miracle, so maybe. We'll see.
Wow.
I doubt
none
it.
of us
But
live
we
on
could
34th
try.
Street.
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh, let
So,
that sting.
another quick question. So, if you could have any band play the music that you've written for
Oh,
this,
Yep.
what band
Oh.
would that be?
Oh
Oh,
boy.
that's tough. That's tough. That's tough.
Ledge.
See, because when I
You
was
can
growing
make
up,
a dream team though, like pick
yeah,
different
Ooh.
people from different bands and create your own band. Because I know that's
yeah,
a tough ask.
yeah. When I was growing up, my house was just always full of music, different types. I mean, I've got three older brothers.
Mhm.
So the one was into like Queen, Emerson, Lake and Palmer,
Mhm.
you know, Boston, Chicago, that type of stuff. The other one was more sort of Jethro Tull, Lou Reed, a lot of the early sort of punk stuff, early ska. And then the other brother was into Sabbath, AC/DC, you know, Maiden, things like that. And then my dad was just into music full stop. So he was a sailor in the Merchant Navy, and he would sell from, because I was born in the UK, so they would sell from Scotland to America, and then up into the Great Lakes in Chicago. And he grew up visiting a place outside of London called Ronnie Scott's, which is a very famous jazz club. And he would sneak in, and he was probably about 11 or 12.
Mhm.
And my uncles would sneak him in, and he just saw, because Britain was very much a touring destination for all the blues artists and all the jazz artists, especially after World War II. So a lot of those guys would come over, and you were just watching in a tiny club, you know, literally like a few feet away from some of the world's greats. So his record collection was just all the stuff, chess records from Chicago, which are just, you know, Chicago blues, and the blues that you get down south is slightly different. Chicago blues is a lot more electric guitar. So just the names alone, like growing up and hearing about like a guy called Howling Wolf, I mean, you just think, wow, that's just an insane name for an individual, you know, or Muddy Waters or something like that,
Mm.
you know. And then obviously you got Charlie Parker and Bird and things like that. It's just these great names. So drums would probably be a really talented jazz drummer called Tony Williams, who passed way too young.
Mm.
Bass, well, that's a tough one. Probably Hendrix on guitar, maybe.
Ooh.
I think Hendrix on guitar. He was one of my first heroes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe John Lennon or someone, maybe on rhythm.
Ooh.
Yeah, vocals, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Probably someone like BB King. I quite enjoy his voice.
Ooh.
I think he's pretty cool. Yeah, but that's a tough question, especially for a musician, because now I'm running like 1,000 different people that could do each different thing. But yeah, probably just the old guys, the greats. That's what I would choose, the old blues artists.
Okay. Well, be prepared because we're probably going to ask you this question again. So, you know, we not now, obviously, but when you come back.
Yeah, cool.
All right. So, Kat, what you
Yes,
got for us
my
now?
love.
Because I see you thinking, what's going on?
Well, we're at the 23-minute mark, and I know that Alistair is running on literally batteries right now. So, unless there is something else that we would like to keep him on for, I'd like to let him go so he can conserve what he's got.
Yes.
So, Alistair,
I'm good. I'm good. If you don't mind me hanging around.
no, not
I've
at
still
all. If
got,
you want to hang
no,
out, we'd
yeah, I've
love
still
to
got an
have
hour.
you.
We're a
Got an
crazy
hour of
bunch.
battery. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think he's got figure that one out. All right.
Yeah, I think so. We don't hide it at all.
We don't hide it at all.
Well,
No.
that's good.
Okay.
All right. So who's going first, Kat?
Well,
Well, our assignment was to each choose a graphic novel to share with the class. And I would I'm always really, really interested in Reggie's picks because he always goes like into these deep cuts and pulls out these really, really great, usually obscure. And I mean that in like, you should know about this. And he's bringing it to our attention. So thank you for that. So, yeah, I'm going to start with Mayhem. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So
Reggie, tell me what you got.
this one, it is a deep cut, but it also isn't. But it is an event that has shaped the Marvel universe into the way it is now. It's
Okay.
the reason that we got Avengers versus X-Men. It's the reason we got the last Phoenix Saga, where 5 different people got a portion of the Phoenix Saga. All were driven mad and literally Highlandered it to make only one person have it, and that ended badly for everybody, especially Xavier. But this is the event that sparked all of that, and I picked it because of that, because it was the linchpin of how the
Mm.
Marvel universe currently is
Mm-hmm.
and where mutants ended up.
Mm-hmm.
And that graphic novel is the Messiah Complex.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
to give you the background, this is shortly after House of M,
Mm-hmm.
after Wanda said, "No
Mhm.
more mutants." Boom, no more mutants. Literally 90% of all mutants on the planet lost their powers. No more mutant births whatsoever. And literally, they had, I do believe it was 150 in the beginning mutants in America. The X-Men went and grabbed them up as fast as they could before all the hate groups could take them out, because they just realized, hey, the thing we hate, it's less powerful than it used to be. We're going to get rid of it now. And people were killing off mutants left and
Yeah.
right. And the X-Men were trying to save as many mutants as they could. In the end, it was 101 mutants that they were able to save in America when everything was said and done. And even then, they lost some of those, and they had to go from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast and relocate. And as they're sitting there, after they've been there for a few weeks, Cerebra, which is the predecessor to Cerebro, because that's on the East Coast, this is the West Coast,
Oh.
it picked up a mutant birth. And at this time, everyone had the ability to sense new mutants. So the X-Men saw it, the Reavers saw it, the not the acolytes, the religious group that hates mutants, they saw it. Everyone that hates and or likes mutants saw it. X-Men, Sinister, like everyone that you did not want to have this new mutant baby was after this new mutant baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it got literally the first volume, the town this baby was born in, they wiped it off the face of the earth with the fighting.
Yep.
This is one of the few times Chuck got so mad he made everyone stop. Chuck was just like, this is not it. Everyone stopped. And if you were not an Omega level mutant with, capabilities of stopping Xavier, you stopped. And he's like, I want to kill all of you. Just get out. Everyone just get out. And he made everyone leave. And so it's
Reggie.
X-Men trying to find this baby in this wreck town. And it was
Don't
bad.
say rat now. That's
No, a couple of points, Reggie. I always love your chaotic synopsises. They're like legit. They are my favorite. So please do not ever change, because the chaos is the beautiful part of it. I'm actually kind of surprised that you picked this one. I was expecting to get one that I'd never heard of before, but this, I agree, was a game changer when it came out. But I am curious as to, oh, before I say that, a moment of silence for the O that came out of Mayhem's mouth when you were like, Cerebro was East Coast and Cerebro was West Coast. And he was like, oh, like that makes sense. Which I just, for some reason, I found that funnier than it should have been.
because I swear I was about to say, you mean Cerebro? And then he said Cerebro for West. I was like, okay. Oh, okay. All
He's
right.
like, he just went,
We were
he
all
went,
thinking,
oh. And that O was just, it was funny to me. But anyway, why this one? I'm legitimately surprised. I was expecting it to be something like the hidden city of gold.
Not everything can be the hidden city of gold or journey to the city of gold. Thank you. When it comes to my comics, there are some that are like the niche ones, but it's mostly the mainstream, like X-Men, Hulk, Spider-Man. Those are my jams.
Right.
Like, I have some other ones. They're not as mainstream, but they didn't have a graphic novel because they didn't last long enough. Like,
Right.
Okay.
Right.
had Battle Chasers lasted long enough to actually get a graphic novel? Because 9 issues does not a graphic novel make. I'm sorry. It would have been Battle Chasers, because I love Joe Mad and all of his art. It's great. And J. Scott Campbell, it's excellent. But 9 issues, not really a graphic novel. Trade paperback, yes. Graphic novel, less so. But I decided to go with one of my mainstream teams and like this. The X-Men are why I collect comics. It literally started with new X-Men #1 with the gatefold cover of them fighting Magneto again. And it went from there. So X-Men has just always been a part of my comic book journey, and they never will not be.
Awesome.
And that's
Who's your
why
favorite X-Men?
I'm super stereotypical on that, sir. You already know the answer.
Is it Wolverine?
It is, but following shortly behind him.
is.
Anyway, so ladies
Bring
and
him back.
gentlemen, all right,
Bring him back.
That was
Sorry.
cool.
He's used to it.
Sorry, but
See, this is what I
liked him
meant by the
before he was
buttons.
cool. I liked him before he was cool. I liked him before he was cool. Thank you very much. Actually,
I was waiting for the actually.
Mm.
But this is an excellent pick. Thank you very much for bringing that to the table.
of
Thank you.
course, you are welcome, madam.
Did you have more graphics to show? Oh, I see.
I
You
did.
have
I'm
a
just
lot
gonna
more
scroll
graphics.
through. Yes, it's a graphic novel. I have to have
This is-
graphics.
this is
And
around the
Lucy
time.
getting his
Please
backside handed to him, and this is the town that these groups decided to just devastate.
Oh, there's my favorite. Okay.
It's that man in that purple and black, isn't it?
My Remy LeBeau.
Oh dear.
So I'll
Oh,
definitely say around
dear.
this time, X-Men has been popping with some great stories or series, if you will, kind of going up and down. House of M, Complex. Now they're amazing. Just to give you an example, Krakoa, which is just laced with history. Krakoa was the island that the first X-Men team lost to. Come to find out, they were the second. That's another issue. And that's how we got
These X-Men
Storm.
were the third.
Right. And then we got
Right.
Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and all of them, right? So what happened was Krakoa became a habitual island that they can live on. Then there's another part of
Habitatable?
Krakoa.
Do you mean habitatable? Is
That one.
Habitable.
Habitable. It's a habit.
habitable? Habitatable?
Listen,
they keep coming back to
listen.
this
We
island.
knew
It's a
what he
habit.
meant.
It becomes an island that they can colonize and be a part of. And there's another part of the island that's missing that's engulfed in magic. They now have their own nation. They also have their own planet. So X-Men, as far as politics, as far as it's become so much more interesting. If you haven't gotten a chance, definitely do it. They've also set it up so that way there's a future involved where Mariah McTaggart is not on the same side. That's all I'm going to leave it as.
What? No, that was his honey bun. That was his go-to gal. Bruh,
She's also a mutant now, by the way. So
yeah, I saw that. Yes,
Yes.
I saw that.
So before she was just like a scientist, a geneticist who helps mutants understand their powers and understand where it comes from. Turns out she's a mutant. So amazing.
Yes, that was an amazing pick. Thank you very much for sharing, Reggie.
Of course.
So it was a surprising choice because I
Yes.
literally started off by saying he always goes for these deep cuts.
Yeah, no, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh man.
Ay,
Wow.
Jackie.
I gotta go and break it.
But an excellent choice nonetheless. So
Mm.
thank you again.
Thank you, Reggie.
Alistair, are you familiar with that series?
No, not at all.
Oh,
Not at all. I'm sorry. No.
No, Nothing to apologize for.
No.
There are plenty that these gentlemen bring up that I'm like,
Yeah. No. No, I've realized that. I mean, yeah, these guys are really comic aficionados. They know their stuff.
we're just a bunch of fucking nerds.
Hey, this is the name of
I
the
got you.
show.
Yeah, I like what was the one I quite enjoyed? Who was the original author? Was it Carter? Chris Carter or someone?
Chris Claremont.
That's it. And the one I can't even remember what it is, but it's about I think where they start taking out the human children for some reason. There's like a bad group of X-Men.
That could be an
can't remember.
That's X. That sounds like X Force.
No, it was X-Men. It's old. It's like really, it was one of the original ones. It's a little graphic novel as well. But
It's not
there's a
an Age
scene
of
where there's
Apocalypse.
no, but there's a scene where there's like a kid playing on a
Mhm.
like a little merry-go-round type thing, and this sort of like evil government group come and shoot this kid. It's really quite hectic, but I'll get it and I will let you know.
Don't worry. What's gonna happen is we're gonna hit you up offline. I'm gonna give you my my spot. And I got you a little link or whatever.
Yeah,
You'll be able to catch up.
perfect.
We call it hood release over here.
Yeah, I like the Grant Morrison run.
Yes.
That was quite enjoyable. I really enjoyed that. I think he's a really talented writer. But yeah,
Yeah.
We are blessed with a lot of talented people working in comics.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of really, really great stuff over the years. And I would love to hear what the man, the myth, the mayhem is bringing to the table tonight with his 1.5 hands over there.
We give the competitor, Michael Mayhem, 1.5 hands.
Oh my god.
7
So-
digits out of 10.
So I'm probably not going to bring this up. Very nice. I'm
that's
probably
classic.
going to not bring this up until maybe my birthday of next year, but it's a constant thing I constantly bring up. Created, written, and drawn by Mr. Mark Oakley himself, as far as I know. Thieves and Kings. It's funny because Mr. Cunningham talked about how his graphic novels are psychedelic, and in a sense, it's its own trip. This is also a trip because it's not told in a linear or even a backwards. It's just jumping all over the place. It's about this kid named Rubel, and it turns out I fail at these summaries because I just don't. This kid apparently is a king to be in the future, but the story starts in the past. There is a woman dressed in black who is an artifact slash sorceress slash we don't know that has a crush on him for some reason. Then there's a redhead girl who you see sticking out there who's like an inventor. They all come together and it just doesn't make sense, but the story is amazing.
You can't
There-
tell me that's not Peter Pan and Wendy right there.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was inspired. Maybe we can ask Mark Oakley. He'll probably say the same thing. Rubel is an amazing, quick-witted kid. I want to say he's a teenager, but I don't think we ever find that out. And it turns out there's this sorcerer named, I think his name is Quentin. Quentin, he sets up everything. He's setting up the future. And the reason why I don't know the conclusion to the story, I don't think there's actually one. And if there is, it's because I can't get my hands on it. They're always sold out. The public library doesn't have any for me to steal. Not that I steal from the public library anymore. But I can't buy it anymore. I
Did you
can't do
mean
it.
borrow? Did
Huh?
you mean borrow?
He meant borrow.
Steal. All right. I said steal.
You're
They
gonna
never
steal from a
buy it.
library?
What? Those books are for the children. I am a child of God. I see no
Oh.
problem there. Okay.
That's not how that works.
I wish I probably should read the summary that they give to it, but honestly, I'm not even gonna do it. This is an amazing.
You heard that, didn't you?
Huh?
She
What's that?
heard Mia laughing at you.
All right, so since we're gonna do this here, okay?
No, I'm loving this. I love this art style. This is very. When is this from? Because this feels very 70s, 80s to me.
This was actually this is 1994.
And they were drawing like that?
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now. In September 1994, was first issue was published.
That looks much older.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's what drew me to it. It's why I had a copy fall off the truck into my hands.
Sir, we cannot be condoning these
Oh
things
my
that may or may
Statute of
not have
limitations is passed, my friend. I don't know what you're talking about.
And then all of a sudden, there's a knock on the door. Doof, doof, doof.
Right?
Library police.
We got him. Listen, my sticky hands aside, this is a great.
Funny that the book is called Thieves and Kings.
Yeah, yeah.
Dun-dun-dun. We make it.
Which
relative
one
on
did
the
you?
show.
You only read the first word, and that was it.
My
He's
kind
like,
of
I
book.
can get behind this.
Thieves. Okay.
Think about it this way: it's about 3 different storylines being told at once, and they all converge. It's an amazing story, and I'm gonna keep talking about it until I find a better. This is the last time I talk about it, but next year I'm gonna have a better summary of everything. I'll have all 5 gems that all needed to read this book. I'll have all the volumes, and I'll listen. It's an amazing book. I'm sorry, it's just
Oh my
so
gosh.
damn captivating.
Look at how sassy she is on the bottom right. I'm into it.
And it's really good because this man keeps publishing them and they keep selling out like that. Mark Oakley, you beautiful, beautiful man.
I
Thank-
also am a sucker for amateur wizards, and that on the bottom right looks like an amateur wizard.
Yes.
So
Right?
I
Yes.
will legally obtain a copy of this and
Uh,
read that on your recommendation, Mr. Mayhem.
don't worry, if it's on my hood release, I got you too, so you can get some
I
previews a little
don't
earlier.
want your hood release.
Yes, you do.
Plausible deniability, sir.
Is it
Don't
really
sully my
plausible?
hard drive.
Listen, it's just amazing. It's definitely one of those books that you read that you're gonna have to probably read
Oh, I love that.
4 volumes and then go back to make certain things make sense. But it's all
Okay.
continuous as far as I know.
Okay.
Is it still in print? Can you still get it?
Let's check that right now. I believe so because it comes out in spurts. I want to say.
Okay.
Let me just check real quick. Do. Thieves and Kings, Mark Oakley.
We need wait music that's like Jeopardy, but not
We
Jeopardy.
could have Reggie sing "City of Gold" again. That'd be amazing.
We can do Cam Cucamonga.
I hear it, and I can't believe it. I can't. This man is doing this. The boss lady screaming. It looks like it's yes. It looks like it's in print, and it looks like all the way up to the 4th volume, the 4th and 5th volume. So
Cool.
yes,
Awesome. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Looks like an excellent recommendation for someone to legally obtain and read.
Reading
They
was
have
hard
their
back
own
in my
website
day.
of thievesandkings.com.
You had to take it
as
from the
well.
library. They didn't know you.
Do not steal from the library.
Don't listen to this man. We do not condone anything that this man has spoken of or will speak of about how to.
Don't steal from a
What?
library.
I pay for
Steve,
books.
after you get caught.
No, I pay. I've never gotten caught. I'm sorry. We have a
I
show
don't
to
know
do.
what that was. Don't you know what? Let's
5
leave it
and
there.
2.
Let's leave it there.
Remember
Let's
the
leave it there.
7? What is that? Oh,
So
okay.
thank you again for your choice. Excellent choice. One that I'm all jokes aside, sincerely interested in getting my hands on and reading because like I said, the characters look pretty sassy and I do love that whole amateur wizard and
Yes.
you know, like in The Last Unicorn and Dragon Slayer and Krull, you know, like those kind of like little
Mhm.
inept but clever little wizards that are stronger than you think they are.
You mean like Willow?
Yes, like Willow,
Like
where he should
Willow.
have chosen his own finger.
Mm.
So that brings it to my pick, which is a little bit of a deep cut. It is a graphic novel that was gifted to me by someone else. And when I first got it, I was like, this is not my normal jam,
We
but
covered-
I will give it a shot.
We covered
And I ended
all
up
the basics.
really enjoying it.
We covered all the basics.
We did?
Yeah, he bought his. I stole mine. You got it gifted. Look at this. We're
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
Yeah.
The trifecta of obtaining things.
And obviously, Mr. Cunningham made his own. So there you go.
There we go.
There you go. So
Okay.
mayhem is the black market. Anyway, okay. So on to my pick. My pick is called Fluorescent Black, which I have it right here because I lazily tried to look up graphics and could not find them. And then Reggie was like, well, I searched on Bing and here's like a gajillion. So here we go. I'm going to read to you the synopsis because I'm terrible at explaining the plot of this because it is very exposition heavy. So I'm just going to give that to you if you'll bear with me just a moment. It says, welcome to 2085, the year of the rabbit. Fluorescent Black takes the reader into the hard-hitting dark future of Southeast Asia, where gene tech has divided humankind into two races, the rich, healthy superiors and the sick, crazy inferiors. These two races live in neighboring cities separated by a heavily fortified border. A superior named Nina is the test model for cutting-edge genetic designs. She is a paragon of physical and mental health. Her brain and body represent billions of dollars worth of corporate research and development. During a bioterrorist attack, Nina is kidnapped by a street gang and taken across the border into a ghetto full of man-made splice animals, psychopathic hookers, drug-addled freaks, deadly insects, poisonous ecosystems, and abandoned tenements. When the corporations tighten their dragnet, the gang quickly discovers that this is no ordinary captive, but she may be the key to solving all of their problems. And that is the little synopsis there. again, this was something that just based on the graphics itself, you know that I'm not huge into gore, especially when it feels gratuitous. So this didn't feel like something that I would necessarily enjoy, but the story itself hooked me. I'm very fascinated by this and how it's kind of like an allegory for racism and still pretty prevalent storyline here where we're having this divide as we push technology further, and of course the people with the money are able to kind of curate their bodies and their health in a way that people living at a different economic level are unable to, and how that divide continues to grow. And I know that this is in Southeast Asia, but it makes me think of Brazil whenever you see those photos of
Mm.
like that wall that separates Brazil and the disparity between those two economic systems, where
Yeah.
you have this upper class and these beautiful condominiums, all the buildings are wide and these skyscrapers, and then literally just tin sheds and aluminum roofs and the whatnot, and just basically curtains for doors, and the only thing separating those two is a very thin wall. So this came out in 2010 and it kind of got mixed reviews. It's not for everybody, but I certainly enjoyed it and think that the visuals and the story were engaging enough that I have read it more than once. And that's not something that I do often because there's always so much new content to read. Not to mention everybody has their like comfort reads, their comfort films, their comfort music that they continue to go back to. And this is definitely not something that I would say is a comfort read for me,
Mhm.
but it is still something that I do revisit now and again, just because it's like I ended up liking this a heck of a lot more than I thought I would. And for people that do kind of like that heavy metal kind of animation, that kind of style with like, this reminds me of that movie with the wrestler Roddy Piper, like
They Live.
thank you. I keep on wanting to say It Lives, and I know that's not it. But here are some from the book. I know that Reggie has the graphics here, but just to give you an idea, this is 120 some odd pages.
Good. Show it.
No, I lied. It's 194 pages.
Wow.
And the visuals are very striking. The story is really interesting, especially if you're into like that science fiction-y kind of gene tech, and also pretty graphic. So maybe not a gift for the kids, depending on, not telling you how to raise your kids, but maybe not for the grammar school kids.
In the grammar school.
Primary school, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Maybe not under 12. Say
Okay.
that.
That looks amazing. Do we have any more graphics by any chance?
Sadly, no, because it's a lot of fan art.
Ah.
Oh, okay. See, I was right.
I found two more. It's
Uh-oh.
okay.
Okay. Show me. What
I
you got?
showed you them.
Oh,
weren't
you already
looking.
showed them? Oh, no, I was too busy opening mine. Yes, I saw that one. Okay, so this is some more of the stuff in here. And one thing that I really liked about the cover itself, I don't even know what pages I'm opening to, so I'm sorry if I end up flashing the audience, is this has this like kind of spatter effect on the cover, which I thought was super cool, like a blood
Oh.
spatter, but it's just, it's built into the cover. I did not spill anything on this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you can see the price. It was only $5 from the person who paid for it.
That's crazy.
Mr.
5
Mayhem.
finger discount.
$1 for each finger of your good hands. So that is my recommendation. Now, I don't want to get too much into the story because it's really hard to describe things without
Yep.
giving things away, which is why I read that blurb. Not to mention, I'd probably be all over with my thing. But I do recommend it for anyone that's into kind of science fiction, doesn't mind explicit or gory things, and is okay with a little bit of a heavier story in reference to, like, it's not subtle. You know what I mean? Like, it's saying the quiet parts out loud, but deliberately. And I liked that. Because I don't think people are say the quiet parts out loud as loud as they should.
Mm.
I have to say, I am digging that artwork. It is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kat, I think you won today. I think I'm gonna have to give you a 10 out of 10 today. I think your presentation really got us, and it's fine, I
Thanks.
think it's fine.
Thank
Wait.
you.
I didn't get a
Thank you so
score.
much.
I don't think you want me to score yours.
Oh no, I think the 10 belongs to Alistair Cunningham because
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
he with the biggest flex of
I
everybody
made
brought
mine.
brought a graphic novel, he made his own.
But I tell you what, though, I would recommend a book I picked up a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
and it's just a little black and white book, and it's called Through the Woods
Oh, okay.
by Emily Carroll. And again, it's not something I'd normally read, but it was a gift, and just the first story alone is worth the price of admission. It's amazing. It's 5 stories,
Mhm.
all very supernatural, and it's an absolutely wonderful graphic novel. And she's a great author.
Okay.
Yeah, Through the
You
Woods,
said
really
Through
good.
the Woods?
Through
Emily
the
Carroll, I
Woods,
see it.
yeah, Emily Carroll's so good. Blew
Yeah,
me
no.
away.
You think you
It-
can throw a graphic up real quick?
I'm looking.
4.7 out of 5.
It's really
1,700
good.
reviews. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's good.
yes, sir.
That sounds like a pretty solid rec to me. Wow. I had
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's good.
I had a hard time with
And
Winter
she's
Care.
done. I think that was her first one, but she's done about 4 or 5 others now. I'm not sure the size of them. They might just be smaller comics, but that's about 5 stories in one. That's really
That's how
good.
they get you.
Yeah, first one's always free, and then
Yes.
they reel you in.
One thing about the show here, like we have a lot of people that read different, different concepts through different literatures, if you will. And I would say every show, if not every other show, we're always coming left field with something. We're just like, oh, really? This was I remember I found a graphic novel about women competing in a championship, and it was one of the most amazing stories. It was gory as hell because you
Mm.
either passed or you died, but it was over to topple in a kingdom. I never would have found that if it wasn't for being on the show. Oh, there we are. All right, we're just gonna choose one. Just one. Is that it?
So good.
Mr.
Yep,
Cunningham?
that's it, man. Yep, that's it.
Can we get a zoomification on that one?
Maybe.
Not a magnification, a zoomification.
It's just the art's great, the storytelling's great, it's very sparse, and that first story is just incredible. It's Stephen King on steroids. It's so good, but it's so simple.
Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of horror stories lure you into a false sense of security. So, like
Yeah.
this drawing reminds me of, I think it was the Stinky Cheese Man. If you guys remember that.
No.
No. Oh,
No.
okay. Let's see if I can find it. Okay.
No.
I have a
Okay.
feeling that I would remember the Stinky Cheese Man,
Yeah,
but
I think
you
that
know.
too.
But are we going to talk about the creepy episode? If you bring up something from the creepy episode and then I start doing that thing where I look over my shoulder again because y'all freaking me out, we're not, please. That month
You
is
brought it
over.
up.
No,
You brought it
no,
up.
it
That was
wasn't
actually
me.
me.
It was
That
him.
was me.
He had me freaked out because he brought up the one thing. Like I'm not
one
gonna
thing
say that I'm not a scaredy cat because I am a scaredy cat, but for the most part, I get along fine. But he said the thing that
I
made
said
me
its name
continue.
out loud.
He did, and that's not nice.
So about the Stinky Cheese Man.
yes.
What I was just saying that the drawing is just it makes it look like kind of like childlike, and then generally
Yeah.
with fables or like stories,
Yeah, fairy
they're
tales.
they're drawn childlike, but they do dastardly things, devious things,
Yeah.
So as a horror lover myself, I can see that happen. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah,
later
check
on.
it out, man. That first story is it's incredible. It's so powerful. It's really good.
I think-
Are his lips made of bacon? What? What am I looking at?
The Stinky
we-
Cheese Man.
Yes.
Are you gonna pull? You
Pull
gonna
it
throw
up.
the graphic?
Pull it up. You can't, don't leave us in suspense.
Share it with the
Reginald.
class, sir. Share it with the class.
I mean, I don't. What is this?
Yes.
Oh, that's adorable.
You guys never heard of the Stinky Cheese Man?
No, I would remember little Brie
Uh,
guy over there. He's
Right?
Brie.
so cute. His head
Um,
looks like a Brie to me.
It probably is. Let's see if I could get some quick information. So this was a banger when it came out. It was published in 1992. I think it won like so many awards, but it's a fairy tale, obviously, and the way they're drawn is like so childlike. But once again, like I said, they're doing like devious things, or they're just kind of going about adult situations. It's still family or kid friendly to read. Last I checked, I'd have to double check it again, so you can read it to the grammar school kids for sure. But as an adult, you're just like, Kind of
Questionable.
reminds me when Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall,
There may be a
Poor
great
Humpty.
fall involved.
I mean, poor Humpty. No, but see, but I love stories like this, and I think you guys would enjoy.
I
it.
love when we share. Sharing is caring.
You share
And
with
on
those
that
who-
note, yep, we do. So I think that is going to sum it up today for graphic novels. Please keep your eye out for this
Yes.
Kickstarter and Alistair Cunningham's book. I'm really, really looking forward to us attaining that goal so I can get my hands on a copy and we can have you back on to talk about it and
That'd be
actually
great.
maybe give a detail or two away to what the appetites of the people watching.
And
But
sing.
please keep your eye out for In My Time of Dying. More info will be put on the 4-Letter Geek and the Hyro Geekix Unlimited page. But thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you to Alistair for joining us from
Yes.
freaking South
Thank you very
Africa
much.
at
Thank
almost
you.
4 a.m. in the morning now, I think.
That is correct. Yep, that is
Um,
correct.
Thank you, Reggie, for bringing us all together once again. And thank you, Mayhem, for not allowing your injuries to prevent you from bringing it like you always do. So thank you again for everyone for joining us. Have a great night. This was 4-Letter Nerd, a Hyro Geekix Unlimited production, and we will see you again next week. Be safe.
Bye,
This is the
everyone.
part. Who's gonna take us out? Because I feel like
You're
that was
in
supposed to
control.
be-
You're the producer. This is your job.
And I'm spent.
This is your job as the
just-
producer. This is your job. I'm the talent, sir. I am just the talent.
Mr. Cunningham, what's the biggest library by you?
University of Cape Town.
They have a lot of books.
Tons of books.
Keep your
And the
hands in
words-
your pockets.